In this video, guys, we're going to look at the ATR made simple. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. All right, so question from subscriber Scott Hughes. He's written quite a long question, so I'll paraphrase this. And he's basically said, I understand a lot of concepts. He's on a demo account. He's looking to go live at some point, not ready to pull the trigger on that yet. That's a good strategy to do. Keep it kind of the risk managed and be cautious before you're ready to kind of put some skin in the game. And he said, listen, I understand Bollinger Band's one of the things, and examples he said here, but I can't really grasp and understand how and when I would use the ATR. I'm brand new to trading, and someone has said, and he's also said here, if you can't learn the ATR, you'll never be a good trader. Some people might look at me and say that. Now, first thing first, Scott, appreciate your question. Again, I appreciate all your guys' questions, comments, etc. You know, first thing, let's address that. Nobody is going to say if you can't learn the ATR, you'll never be a good trader. It's complete nonsense. You don't need the ATR to trade. And hopefully after this video, you'll understand the concept of it. But many people trade and don't look at the ATR at all. Many people don't use any indicators, one indicator, just fundamentals. There's so many ways to trade. And if something doesn't make sense to you, even after this, you just don't feel like it's good, then just don't use it. You know, just carry on with the Bollinger Bands or whatever stuff that suits you as a trader. You know, we talk about a lot of concepts, a lot of indicators, a lot of different things on the channel. I don't use a lot of them, but I share my thoughts and comments about them and how you could perhaps integrate them. ATR, however, and those you know me, know that I do use ATR. I like ATR, I like it a lot. And I'm going to go into kind of some detail on that now, or simplify it a little bit and hopefully explain why I think it's such a powerful tool. All right, so anything else on here? No, that's pretty much it. So thank you, Scott. Appreciate your question. Okay, so let's get right down to it. So ATR, average true range. Those of you subscribers to the channel know we've probably got a few videos doing different things and strategies revolving around the ATR, what we can use it for. So let's think about it as simply. Let's go right back to basics. So ATR is really a way of looking at the market and gauging its volatility, for want of a better word. So the average true range, if we dial it right back, we could effectively say when we're plotting the graph, if we had a 1 period ATR, i.e. we're just looking at 1 day, that's what 1 period, that's what the period is. A 10 period is the average of 10 days, 40, assuming a daily chart, 14 period, whatever indicator that may be. So let's say we go back to a 1 period, which is 1 day. If we got rid of the average true par and we said just a 1 day's range, it would very simply be the high and the low of the day. Now, obviously, the more volatile the day, the wider that range is going to be. If we've got a quiet day, we might have 20, 30 pips range. If we've got a really volatile day, let's say some news has come out or whatever it was that's caused a catalyst for a lot of people buying and selling, we might have a 200 or 300 pip range day. So the range on that day would be 300 pips. If we had that the next day, the next day, the next day, now that could be considered quite a high range, especially if the previous week we were doing ranges of 50, 30, 20, 70, those kind of order of magnitude. Then we suddenly went into 300. That would indicate that, hey, there's some volatility coming into the market. Things are changing. Now, how can we use that? We'll look at that in a second. But from a basic perspective, that's exactly what it's telling us. If we're plotting, you know, a number of the range and that number started to increase, then we could just look at that number. We couldn't see the price. We wouldn't see where the price was. There'd be no reference to where the price was, and also there'd be no reference to whether we're in uptrend or downtrend if we just looked at the ATR. But all we would see is that there's a big range on that day. Now, if we expand that slightly and we said, okay, if we took an average of say 10 days or 20 days, let's stick with 10 days, and we just took an average of that range over the 10 days, that would be a little bit, that would dampen things down a bit, right? Just like a moving average is price over the 10-day period. 10-day moving average is the average of price. We use a simple one anyway over a 10-day period, and it's plotting that as we go along. So it kind of smooths out the spikes in price. Same as an average range, forget about the true bit for now, same as the average range over the 10-day period would kind of smooth out some spikes. If you had like a 400 pip range and went back to a 50, yes, we get a little lift up in the average, but it wouldn't kind of spike dramatically. So just by looking at the average, we can see how the trends of volatility are affecting the market, or not affecting the market, how the trends of volatility are changing. So we've got the range, we've got the average. Now, what about the true part? So the slight difference here with what I've just explained there with the range and average true range is that range takes into account the high and the low of the day. That's the range of the day, the highest point of the day, lowest point of the day. So imagine if we were talking about a stock, let's say a stock that's easy to have an open and close. The opening bell goes, the closing bell goes. The highest price it got to, let's say $48, that's the high. The low, $40. There's an $8 range. And that's just depending on where we're taking the start of the day, the close of the day, if we're trading on FX. So range, we've got that. Average, we've got that. The true part. So basically, the easiest way of looking at this, and I've kind of put down how we'd calculate it, but the easiest way of thinking of this is it allows for instances where you've got some gaps and you've got some kind of unusual moves. So rather than just being the range of the day, it takes into account kind of the next day and stuff. So what the average true range does, although if you're looking at a 1 day, it takes the highest of the high minus the low, so the range, or the current high minus the previous close. This is an absolute value, so it's a negative value, it just goes into a positive value, or the current low minus the previous close. So if you look at number 2 here, if we had this scenario, then it would take the higher of those numbers, either the range of the current day, or the current high minus the previous close, the current low minus the previous close. That means that it takes into account if we had a significant gap, because if the range is very small on the day, and the range was very small the prior day, but it gapped a lot overnight, then that's still interesting, and it wouldn't show up if we're just taking the intraday range. So the ATR kind of allows for that and adds this little bit of flavor in. But if you wanted to look on your chart and plot in range and average true range, they're very, very similar, apart from when you get these unusual scenarios. So that's the other way of looking at it. So if we just backtrack a bit, it doesn't tell us anything about price, doesn't tell us anything about direction. All it tells us is how much a market is moving in an intraday period, as well as sometimes of the gaps. So it's just a good indicator of that. So why would we use that? What's the point in that? How useful is that if it's not giving us any information on price? Well, there's a few ways, and I think I've done a kind of deep video about far more ways, but some examples and some ideas that we could use are targets. So if we know that the average range, and forget about true, doesn't matter true or not, the average expected range of a market is 100 pips, for example, then when we're in the trade, if the range then goes to 100 pips, let's say when the trade goes our way, now the range is equal to 100 pips, then we might not expect there to be much more than that, because over the past 10 days, that tends to be the likely range of the day. So for us to be greedy and expect 150 pips is unlikely unless we're in a scenario where the range is breaking out and some things are happening. But if we're trading the normal expected range, 100 pips is about right. So we could use it as price targets for our trades on the long or the short side. Another way we could use it as a filter. We could use it and say, hey, I only want to be involved when the market is volatile, or a market is volatile, and screen markets for an ATR over a certain number. So if you're trading, whatever you're trading, you could screen it for an ATR. Say you're trading stocks, you could use a percentage on an ATR, so you're normalizing it across the stocks rather than just price. And you could say, okay, I only want to trade stocks that have got an ATR over 2%, for example. And so that would only bring to your attention markets that are trading with a decent range that you consider is useful for your strategy. Same if you're trading, let's say you're trading US dollar JPY. Say, listen, I'm not very good at narrow kind of choppy markets. I'm better when we've got a bit more aggression. So then you could say, well, I'll only trade when the ATR is over a certain period. So you're filtering out all the times when it's choppy and quiet, and you're using it as a filter to say, well, I'm only going to get involved when the volatility is there, because I know that's when I'm good at placing my trades or making some money from my trade, should I say. And the final thing is entry zone. So the flip of targets, we could say, okay, we've got 100 pip range on the day is the average true range, is the expected range of the day over a 10-day period. That's pretty much what we're getting. And so we could say, right, well, actually, if we get to 100 pips, maybe I'm going to look for a fade, a counter trend trade back to the middle or whatever target you may be, because I think the market's going to run out of steam there, because over the past 10 days, that's pretty much on average what it's done. It's not gone 200 very often, it's not gone 300 very often. So when we're about 100-point range, I can say, okay, well, that might be an area that I want to do some business in. Again, I've done kind of a few videos when we've talked about that, how we integrate it, perhaps within prior days levels, key levels, highs, lows, that kind of stuff, and integrating the ATR as an additional kind of thing to look at to process your trade. So hopefully that's explained it in a little bit more detail. Like I say, if you're interested in that formula, go and kind of get on Google and have a little dig around and see that, and maybe plot the range with the true range. But you know, to kind of get your head around it, getting rid of true and average is a good start, and then getting rid of the true is another good start. So you like the average range, and then once you've grasped that, the true just really adds an extra layer that it doesn't make that much difference when it comes down to it, apart from in markets where there's a lot of gaps going on. So anyway, guys, that is the ATR made simple. I hope it's helped. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.